A Hunter in Teyvat, Chapter 34b, Fan Fiction, by Azazyel. Can we get the hell out of here now? Lumine cursed as she huddled up next to me, and I hissed as she stuck her ice-cold hands under my jacket and against my stomach. Honestly, with how that Lawachurl was able to simply body my ruined guard and how fucking cold it was here. I know where a ruined crater is in Liyue. Let's get the fuck out of here. I normally actually enjoyed the cold, as you could typically always simply wear another layer of clothes to dispel the cold, but here the winds were enhanced with cryo-energy that pulled all the warmth from you with no mercy. Paimon wants some fried Julian chilies. Paimon cried out as she flung herself against me, and I cried out as the girls abused me, with Paimon taking the opening Lumine created in my jacket to climb into my jacket despite me trying to push both of them away, as I could feel my own chest break out into goosebumps from the cold. We swiftly flew towards the country of Liyue as fast as the Anemo elemental could carry us, but as we crested over the final chunk of the Dragon's Pine Mountains, we saw our last quarry as it was seemingly chasing some Fatui agents into a large encampment of Sneznahian forces. Although the clearly refurbished old fortress was outfitted with similar cannons to the ones that were shooting at us when we raided that domain filled with Fatui agents, those cannons were doing jack other than staggering the ruined greater as the condensed pyro explosives exploded mightily against the metal frame of the ruined greater, who would only stagger at the force of the explosion and not even take any damage. Br. The ruined greater loudly drowned, and then the large eye mounted on its head glowed, and an eye-blinding laser was shot at the fortress. The cannons, just like when Vendi shot into them, exploded as the ruined greater slowly and methodically dragged its vision across the top of the fortress. It was almost a work of art, as the ruined greater's laser did its job perfectly in eradicating what it considered an enemy. Paimon thinks that ruined guards are good enough. Paimon said as she squeezed behind Lumine and in front of me, as Lumine was sitting on my lap again. Do we really need to fight that walking apocalypse? Lumine deadpanned as the ruined greater formed a shield of energy in front of itself as it ran forward, and I could feel in my chest as the ruined greater smashed through the front portion of the fortress and was engulfed in a massive explosion as it seemingly ran into the Fatui's munitions or something. But as the ruined greater stood up with its energy shield flaring around it basically unharmed from the resulting explosion, I began considering whether we should say fuck it and leave. You bastard. You ruined our camp. Now we have to deal with the damned cold. A woman's voice screamed almost hysterically, and I had to blink heavily as a massive pillar of condensed ice smashed into the ruined greater and both smashed and pinned it to one of the surrounding cliff sides. Out of the smoke of the building came someone I had no idea would be in the Dragon's Pine Mountains, as I thought she would be in some other domain around Mondstadt. Signora strutted confidently out of the smoke, followed by several cryo and hydro-sisson mages who arrayed themselves behind her and around the ruined greater. Please subscribe to this channel for listening, and patreon.com/Azazyel to read all of his stories.